and anything less. He says I'm not good enough, not gonna lie, took it kinda rough. At least it could be honest for once. So he says he's at.
Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Angel Baby Kyra. Make sure you like and subscribe. Go follow me on Instagram and TikTok if you're cool and if you're hot. Today's video, I'm taking a little break from the whole Nick is not green and Curtis Connor because I am tired of talking about it. I hope that was my last video that I made on it unless something else comes out, but I do not plan on making any more videos about it. Please do not ask. Alright, back to regular scheduled programming. Not that this topic is like literally any better. We're literally gonna be talking about why rich people like to cosplay as poor people like all the time, and I know you guys know what I'm talking about, especially recently. This isn't the first instance that any kind of like poor person has cosplayed as, any rich person has cosplayed as a poor person, but the most recent like incident is with Charli D'amelio. I always forget there's another one. Anyways, so she basically came out with this new popcorn line that was gonna be sold at Walmart, and she was wearing like a Walmart vest, like an employee vest, and was pretending to like work there. So there are very many polarizing sides to each viewpoint. I would say for the majority, people are like, that's so stupid, that's offensive, and very tone deaf. Like those are the three main synopses on one side, and then the other side is that it's not hurting anyone, everyone's being too sensitive, things like that. So very dismissive of the other side. Now personally, I don't know about you guys, but when I was in college, there was a point where I had to work 3 jobs. I have been working since I was 16 years old, and only till recently, until I took a mental health break because I literally had to, because I was outpatient of the psych ward, was when I actually had not worked in my life, which was very strange for me to not go to work. You know, I would literally work. I worked at Forever 21. I worked in a lot of retail, so I know what it's like when a customer is yelling at you because you don't have the size that they want, when you literally cannot pull it out of your ass. Like you already told them like you don't have it. So I've been to that. I've seen a lot of things, really strange things, especially during COVID, during the panini. Like people were just insane on how they treated like workers. So I've had my fair share of work experience. Now I'm a little more fortunate and a little more privileged now, even though like we still like struggle, me and my partner still struggle. Like as a freelance worker, obviously I can take on my own gigs and stuff like that. I have an interview tomorrow, so hopefully it goes well. I'm not a stranger to working. I feel like right now the influencer kind of shtick, influencers in general, flex culture is really dying out, and I feel like people already like had it, even though people are still buying from the Kardashian Jenner clan, which I don't understand at all. Nonetheless, I feel like other influencers who aren't the Kardashian Jenner clan are not that popular anymore, or are losing their popularity because their audience doesn't want to see them clean their freaking gigantic house that is all minimalistic, and all of them have the same like sofas and home decor because they all get the same PR. Anyways, back to rich people cosplaying as poor people. So I don't think Charli deserves any of the unalived threats, anything that body shames her, anything about her appearance, just very low blows without having any valid criticism. So I don't condone that. I don't think she should be getting threats for doing that. But do I think that people have the right to be angry and to be upset while literally people cannot afford rent, especially if you're in LA right now? Y'all know what I'm talking about. It's insane. Groceries are so expensive. Gas is expensive. I just think that her also saying that she wanted to marry rich so she doesn't have to do anything.
Goals professionally is probably to marry rich.
And it's the fact that she probably thought that she was being so relatable. It is probably the fact that she thought that we were going to eat that up. That's what's funny to me, is because like Brittany Broski, Megan Trainor are like relatable. You know, like they do things that are so relatable. But when these influencers that are worth like even $1 million to like 30 million, and they're like, I'm going to marry rich. Like, girl, what? And retire. Like Tana, here's the thing about Tana, okay? Tana would be like, I just want to marry a rich dude and move off. Okay, period. But she's like, I don't need a rich man. Like, I'll date a broke man. I I guess I mean, there's a huge difference there, but like, Dixie girl, what are you doing? Like, anybody who, especially when you're doing it on your reality show that's on Hulu, girl.
And that she got like sad or like depressed at like 100 million TikTok followers. I'll put it up here if I was wrong.
Right when I hit 100 million, I think I was at the lowest mental state possible, and I looked so happy online, and it got to the point where I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, I physically cannot do this. Like, it got really dark to where I was like, I don't even want to be here anymore.
Not to say that her mental health struggle aren't valid in itself. They completely are. I gotta word this very carefully so I don't come off like dismissing her mental health. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to say that anyone would kill to be in the position that Charli is, especially growing up and being super rich while she was young and just being born into this. Not born into it, but like growing up as a rich person, just like the Kardashian clan. Kim Kardashian dressed up as a milkmaid, a cottage maid, and I think that also goes into another topic of aesthetics, basically kind of glamorizing the poor aesthetic, which derives from the cottagecore aesthetic, which is like milkmaids and stuff like that, and making fresh bread. And there's a lot of TikTokers that actually have been called out for this, again, as cosplaying as poor people who are rich. Like this one TikToker, if I can find her, I'll put it up, but basically like her dad is like the CEO of JetBlue or something. She literally pretends like she's in this rustic kind of barn and like cares for her children and milks the goats, but like she doesn't have to do that out of necessity. She does that because it's aesthetic and she can make cute little videos on TikTok.
In tow. The farm looks like it was made in the 1800s, and the family kind of does too. Hannah records this quaint farm life and publishes it all online to her combined 8 million followers. The video showed the Nealmans' life on this adorable, modest homestead. Hannah spends her days baking rustic loaves of bread from scratch, or hand-milking cows with her children. It's very pastoral and very romantic. The videos seem to say, hey, we live in an old, run-down farm and we make the best of what we have. It's all genuinely quite charming. Except Hannah and Daniel are billionaires. Daniel's father founded JetBlue Airlines, and Daniel is the heir to that empire. This fact is left out of all of their videos, I would argue, quite conspicuously. I don't think the Nealmans are pretending to be poor, but they are co-opting poverty as an aesthetic, or at least some bizarre, fictional version of it. Poverty in the modern world is not baking bread or milking cows, and we'll talk about that later. But this video is not about putting Hannah and her family on blast, because A, who cares, and B, the Nealmans are not the first rich people to treat poverty like a fashion statement. What they are doing is not unique at all. Rather, it is a symptom of a much more popular phenomenon that has been around for a really long time.
And I know that sounds overly harsh about someone's choice of how they want to live, which is like completely fine, but at the same time you're selling something that a lot of people day-to-day lives are struggling with, and they just can't just turn off or get off TikTok and be like, that's just that, and now we go back to like normal life and not having to milk the cows or milk the goats or make bread because it's out of necessity. It's not out of necessity, it's for the aesthetic. You feel what I'm saying? So the thing with Charli D'amelio is that people are like, well, what else is she supposed to do if she's like trying to promote her new popcorn brand? Maybe not dress up like a Walmart employee. If any of y'all been to Walmart, you know that Walmarts can be a shithole. I'm just putting it out there because it has to do with all of like the classes and how things are really, I forgot how they word it, but basically poor people get targeted with markets and companies such as Walmart. I guess basically to keep them poor and to keep them going there, because that's like the cheapest place that they'll get. It's not necessarily like the best quality or the best whatever, but they know that their demographic will always come back because that's what they can afford.
It's about anything, and while you're there, check out the freak show. Walmart is like going to the circus if instead of abused animals, they have people, and instead of greasy carnival food, they have McDonald's. Hi, I'm William Haynes. I like to start with fire sometimes. Walmart is a big business, and because of that, they'll often use the cheapest means to create the biggest quantity of products. Because of this, there was a study done to see just how many Americans' jobs were lost because of their purchases of foreign goods from China. According to EPI in 2013, Walmart imported more than $49 billion worth of Chinese goods. That's the equivalent of 196 Mitt Romneys. EPI also stated that Walmart by itself accounted for 15.3% of the growth of the total U.S. goods trade deficit with China between 2001 and 2013. Because of this trade deficit with China, Walmart by itself got rid of or displaced over 400,000 jobs in the U.S. between 2001 and 2013. Because Americans don't work for cheap, some people are so unwilling to work for cheap that they'd rather be homeless. I just call that America. However, Walmart stated that based on data from Boston Consulting Group, it's estimated that 1 million new U.S. jobs will be created through Walmart's U.S. manufacturing initiative, including direct manufacturing job growth of approximately 250,000 and indirect job growth of approximately 750,000 in support and service sectors. Whoa, 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 whoa. This got a little bit too businessy for me. All I know is that if I want to get a deodorant, a gallon of milk, a mini HDMI adapter, and a double cheeseburger all in 10 minutes, I can do it at Walmart.
Walmart brings a lot of interesting people, and the last time me and my partner were at a Walmart, it was like literally Halloween, and apparently while we were getting rung up, someone was following me around the store and was like trying to take pictures like of my skirt because I was wearing like a dress and like a corset because me and my partner were going to the pumpkin patch for his birthday, and it was about like 9 p.m. at this time, and we just went to Walmart to get lashes so I can do my makeup the next day. So Walmart's not, you know, the best job in the world either, because you're dealing with so many people with such a big store, with such a big capacity. There is bound to be some sort of chaos, you know, and if you know anything about working a 9 to 5, it is not fun. It is very tiring. It is very grueling. It's very depressing sometimes like when I was working, I'd have to work at like 3 o'clock in the morning, 3 a.m. to like 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. then go to school until 10 p.m. so literally no sleep, but I had to so I could like pay for my parking permit, so I can pay for my books, so I can pay for things that I needed, also to get that experience for my future career that I wanted to do in fashion. So there's all these other factors, and also to like help my family so I wouldn't have to like always financially rely on them. So there was that too. So point is that Charli has never worked a day in her life. Like, I can say that for 99%. She has never worked a day in her life. She would not survive an 8-hour shift at Walmart. I would not survive an 8-hour shift at Walmart. Her doing a 40-hour week, and even her age, like even maybe if she was like going to college and shit and then having to work. No, there's a lot of people in college that have to work full time. I worked part-time because I just could not manage it. My grades were already like failing. I'm just working part-time because I would get no sleep. But just to say that like these rich people are so tone deaf that it's not even funny at this point. Like, it's not even funny. The irony also, like during the Panini where all the celebrities were like, I think they were seeing like Imagine by John Lennon when they're like pretty much fine in their mansions and shit like that. I think the only person that actually said something about it was Miley Cyrus, saying like, I'll try to find it, but she said something that was like, well, I'm not like the average person and I have the luxury of being in my home. Someone that also a lot of people mention as a relatable queen is Cardi B, because she talks about like how the prices are going up and stuff like that, how she doesn't take private jets because like it's just not good for the environment, and also it's just a waste of money.
Something when I be complaining about food prices and y'all motherfuckers be like, ain't you rich, why you complaining about lettuce, why you complaining about this? That just goes to show me when you become successful, when you have money, you're gonna go broke soon because y'all not budgeting. I get a summary of the money that's being spent in my home every week. So when I'm starting to see that like groceries is like tripling up, it's like, hey, yo, what the fuck is going on? I want to see for myself what the fuck shit is being spent on. And like when I go to the fucking supermarket, like I went to the supermarket, I'm seeing that everything tripled up. That like lettuce was like $2 a couple of months ago, and now it's like fucking $7. Of course I'm gonna say something. The fuck? Because if I think that shit is crazy, I could only imagine what middle class people or people in the hood is motherfucking thinking. So yes, I'm going to say something. The fuck? And I have a big platform, so I do want anybody that's responsible of these fucking prices to put that shit the fuck down. They're gonna see my shit, they might put it down. So shut the
So there are some celebrities that have like an awareness of it, and I feel like that helps. And obviously makes them more relatable, makes them more appealing. But when people see things like this with Charli, I just think like, I kind of feel like Charli's team kind of did that on purpose because, I don't know, bad publicity is still like publicity. And not that Charli needs any publicity because she's literally like one of the most followed creators on TikTok for whatever reason. And that gets me to my side tangent of like, why are we making the wrong people famous? Still don't know what they're famous for, still don't know why they're famous, still don't know why people follow them or like what they do. Like, could have foreseen Charli cosplaying as a retail worker in my bingo card. I just wasn't playing bingo at the time, so I couldn't have told you that. Just kidding. But no, seriously, I think Charli really needs to get out of her echo chamber. I feel like a lot of these influencers need to get out of their echo chamber. I feel like this whole thing of the rich cosplaying as poor has always been a thing. There's this one video that I watched about rich people cosplaying as poor people. I don't link it in the description because it's a really good video, and they talk about how Marie Antoinette is like a legend or a story that she used to cosplay as a peasant for the day and then come back and take it all off and just revel in her riches and shit like that. I don't understand the obsession of rich people, because the obsession of rich people wanting to cosplay as poor people, I guess it's just like something that's fun to them because it's different for them. You don't know like the kind of stigma that comes with being a Walmart worker, because that's kind of like considered a job that a lot of people don't want to have. It's like a retail job. It's usually, they accept a lot of people who have different kinds of backgrounds that wouldn't normally get a job as well. Same thing with like Salvation Army and kind of like Goodwill and stuff, that gives like jobs to people who have been gone to prison, who have been incarcerated, so it gives them a second chance to try to integrate back into society. I just think that it is pretty tone deaf when you think about it that way. But like anyway you like cut it, it's like not a good look, and it's very, very offensive, like completely offensive. Like, I don't know, like these influencers need to take a break. They need to go to school, I guess. Apparently people think that's a good option. This like infatuation of rich people with poor people, it just makes it seem like they don't see regular people as people, or like regular people. Like, they think it's like this costume or it's this character or role that they're in that they can change to and be like, wow, this is what it's like to be poor. And I know one YouTuber that comes into mind is Shane Dawson, because he's like, oh my god, blah blah blah, I'm being poor or whatever. I feel like a lot of the influencers, like some of them came from no money and came from nothing, but then something in the brain, I feel like there's just like a chemical switch that just switches the way that they think. Like, it's really strange to see. And I just think overall, like, people are tired of just trying to be influenced. And I say that as a micro influencer myself, you know, like, I think that a lot of people also don't talk about how social capital is a thing too, and that's kind of a really big deal to influencers as well, which if you don't, like, social capital basically is like how well you stand in the social climbing ladder sphere, especially when it pertains to things like the music industry, the fashion industry, the entertainment industry, anything that has to do with the creative industry that isn't a normal like, 9 to 5, which is called glamour work, which is still basically work, but it's not considered like extremely, what do you call it, strenuous compared to like a manual labor job, regular 9 to 5 job, normal STEM jobs and stuff like that. So I think that a lot of people also don't understand that influencers really thrive off of like social capital as well. I feel like Charli's social capital is greatly going down because a lot of people are very upset, but I feel like it will blow over like a lot of things do, and people will just forget and just be like, remember that one time when Charli D'amelio cosplayed as a Walmart worker? I think we're all gonna remember that. But I feel like overall, like, I think it's valid for people to be upset with seeing that, especially like if you're just like working and like, I don't know, a lot of people are like, I'm on my lunch break and I'm seeing Charli D'amelio like literally get paid like probably like millions of dollars to dress up as a Walmart worker. I think also directing the anger towards Walmart for not paying their employees enough. Yes, you can be upset and offended by Charli's campaign for her, what is it, her popcorn or whatever, but also it makes us look at, or needs to make us look at, why Walmart doesn't pay their employees enough, and also like just the inflation in our economy and late stage capitalism of this is like the result, because a lot of people cannot pay groceries, cannot pay rent, have to go hungry. There's a lot of TikToks right now that are like stitches and responding to Charli campaign or whatever. And I think like people are starting to realize like they don't want to see influencers anymore show off their stuff. You know, I think that's completely valid, and I think I want to stop like consuming that kind of content too. Like, don't get me wrong, like seeing like outfits of the day or like makeup stuff like inspires me too, but I feel like a lot of people just want to see normal people be normal people. But influencers are normal people, you know, they're still people, but then they're just like a little bit weird. I think that's the end of today's video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Today's video was a little more rambly. I didn't script it, but it's just something that I wanted to talk about. And don't forget to like and subscribe and follow me on Instagram and TikTok, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Says I'm not good enough, not gonna lie, took a color rough, at least it could be on.